Hi, and welcome to our look at Annecy, part of our 2018 Tour de France. No, not on a bike, in a car. As always, we'd love you to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future travels. Annecy is in the east of the country, close to the Swiss border. We were heading north from Villefranche-sur-Mer and opted to take the scenic route through pretty little towns and villages, taking in the amazing landscape and stunning scenery as we worked our way towards Annecy. We headed out after breakfast with a journey of around about 450 kilometres or 280 miles, estimating that it takes 6 to 7 hours, so we arrived late afternoon. So after a quick freshen up, we head out to discover town. This is about 4:30 on a Sunday afternoon. And we decided to amble along, following the river towards the lake, exploring as we go along. So why am I telling you all this? Well, the truth is we were both disappointed at the end of the day, and we couldn't put our finger on why. Do you suffer from that? Perhaps our expectations were too high. Anyway, tomorrow's another day. Let's see how that turns out. So after a good night's sleep, a lovely cup of coffee and a pastry in a local cafe, we set off to explore the town. Now it may have been the water flowing through the town, the clear blue skies, but we just had a completely different impression the next day. Yeah, there may have been tourists and lots of us, but it was still nice to walk around, to stroll around, to find quiet spaces to stop and just take a break. So if you didn't know, Annecy is in the Savoie region of France, nestled against the French Alps. And like so many regions of France, it has its own unique identity, with its own regional wines and cheeses. The other thing to note is that the old town of Annecy, the bit you're going to want to explore, and up to the lake, is not a big walk. It's not that large. And the other good news is, being on a lake's edge, it's reasonably flat. I say reasonably, but we'll get to that in a little while. As you can see, some of the squares are quite quiet, and in the very centre there's few roads. Now it does get a little busier by the River Thiou, where you'll find a good selection of restaurants, bars and gift shops. After a short stroll through town, we come across this beautiful park on the edge of the lake, and you may have noticed I'm avoiding trying to pronounce some of these places. Canal du Vasse? And Janice and I are still trying to figure out why we were so negative yesterday, because today we're just loving the place. And this is the Pont d'Amours, or the Love Bridge. I think I prefer it in the French. Oh, in case you were wondering what time of year this was, this is the 10th of September. I'm not sure if it's unseasonably warm, but it's around about 30 degrees centigrade or mid-80s Fahrenheit. But all in all, it's pretty spectacular. And then we get to the lake. And wow, doesn't it just look amazing? Crystal clear, fed by waters flowing off the Alps, and don't those mountains provide a stunning backdrop? And of course you can enjoy the lake. You can hire a pedalo, take out a powerboat, or even take a cruise on the lake. I'm sorry to say we didn't do any of those. We took the car out and did a lap of the lake and that'll be a later video if you're interested. Once again, don't forget to subscribe. It also seems really popular to cycle around the lake. You can easily hire a bike, and there's dedicated cycle paths to make it safer. So after enjoying the lake views, we decided to head back towards town via the quayside. Now, do you remember I said this town was flat? Well, that up on the hillside is the Château d'Annecy, and we'll be visiting that shortly. But now let's wander back towards the old town. And this place really is as pretty as a postcard, and it's used to welcome a fair amount of guests. I guess in the height of the summer season it's going to be pretty busy, but it looks like it can handle it. And this is the 12th century Palais de. Once a courthouse and prison, it's now home to the Annecy History Museum. So I said it was flat. Well, there's a little climb up to the Château d'Annecy, but it's well worth it. The full entrance price is around €5 to €6, and for that you get access to the museum, also the history of the lake, but best of all, the views from up on the chateau are pretty impressive. Then we discovered one of our favourite things, a traditional food market. Set out on the bustling Rue Sainte-Claire, it was just lovely to explore the local produce. Is anyone else a huge fan of these markets? We may pick up some fruit or dried sausage, but rarely cheese, doesn't sit in the car that well. Nougat. Who can resist it, eh? day on our feet, and in this heat, I may have stopped for a beer. So what's your thoughts then? Is Annecy the place for you? Leave us a comment, we'd love to know. Well, that wraps up our visit to Annecy. I hope you like what we put together. Thanks so much for watching, and why not pick up our video on Villefranche-sur-Mer.